It's time for our daily dose of cope. And yes, the leopards are feasting and they are so happy because there are way too many faces out there to be eaten. Let's jump into some of these stories. This man named Daniel, he said, "This isn't what I voted for. I don't think I have ever been more disappointed in a vote I've made. I didn't vote for Trump to take bribes from Qatar. I didn't vote for this tariff BS that is ultimately going to cause me to lose my job, a job I love. I don't know what the F he is thinking with this nonsense." Number one, he said he was going to do the tariffs. He said that on the campaign trail. So the fact that these people keep acting like he didn't say that is ridiculous to me. They deserve to have their faces eaten completely off. The fact that he is taking bribes is par for the course for a liar and a felon. These people are ridiculous with these notions that a felon and a liar wouldn't behave like this. This is the reason why they deserve to have their faces eaten. So this collage of posts was posted in The Leopards Ate My Face. They titled it, "Trumper Making a GoFundMe for a Medical Procedure in This Economy That She Boasted Trump Would Fix." So down here it's saying Joe Biden is uninstalling. And in pink it says, "I hope that Trump fixes our tax system." And then she got upset because she got a $26 refund after paying, $10,000 last year. Is effing pathetic. And I really hope that Trump does something about this nonsense. Moochers that don't work. Now, here is the GoFundMe. And I'm totally sure more people are going to need GoFundMes for their medical procedures. We live in a country that does not want healthcare to be affordable. We don't care about that kind of stuff. We want citizens to have to file for bankruptcy if they get sick. So this woman says, "I started a GoFundMe to help cover some medical costs that I just can't cover. My gyno stated we need to do the DNC sooner than later. They need to test some of my uterine lining for cancer, which runs in my family. I tried to get a second job, but in this economy, I do good just to cover the bills. I understand if you can't donate, but a share would be appreciated. Our economy is going to continue to be in the tariffs, the instability with jobs, all of that. Yes, it's going to continue to be effed up. But this is what they wanted because Trump said that he was going to make the economy wonderful, that grocery prices were going to drop and all these prices were going to drop. But the only thing that he has done is make prices go up. He has done a terrible job, but he's done a good job in making sure that these people get their faces eaten. So this is a set of tweets, and I don't like it when people blur the names because I do like to go check for myself. But this person titled it, "Other countries will pay the tariffs so the small businesses can get a tax break." All right, so let's look at this person's tweet on November 18th saying, "Trump is going to tariff other nations, genius. Make China pay for our government so we can have a tax break. China's paying for the tariffs like Mexico paid for the wall. Please know and understand that." And then he says, 100% appreciate that. And I am still Team Trump. Also have urgent meetings tomorrow on how to update our pricing strategy. We have U.S. and Canadian customers and U.S. and Canadian plants. My Canadian plants don't produce the same products as my U.S. plants and vice versa. So obviously he's about to get hit because he has a Canadian business and he has Canadian and American customers. So this is about to be a mess, but he says he's still Team Trump. So yay for having to update your pricing strategy. And he's also seeing that in fact, the foreign countries will not be paying the tariffs. The people will be paying the tariffs because they will increase the prices. And then at the bottom, we cannot absorb 10 to 25% tariffs. The margins are too thin. So guess what's going to happen? What we all knew was going to happen. This is the thing is, these people act like they're such business folks, like yay, and he's such a business person. He did tariffs in his first term. Why didn't they look this up? He said he was going to do these tariffs. I keep stressing that because it's true. These folks are ridiculous, acting like now he's saying, oh, the margins are too thin. And the margins are going to continue to be too thin for other businesses. Small businesses will fold before other businesses that have more cash on hand. So I've already told y'all I'm from Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is in Tornado Alley. So if there is a tornado that comes through, the way they are cutting FEMA, Oklahoma is going to be impacted. But also, Oklahoma is a poorer state. And if they cut health care like the Republicans want to do, the House Republicans want to do, Oklahoma is going to take a hit. Oklahoma has a whole lot of rural areas that will be impacted. But they voted for Trump about 67 to 70%. So this is what they voted for. So this article says, Oklahoma healthcare leaders warn rural hospitals could shut down under the proposed federal Medicaid cuts. Please keep in mind that they voted for this. Yay. I left Oklahoma in 1999 and did not go back. I am not going to live in a state like this. But anyways, it says rural hospitals in Oklahoma could be forced to slash services or shut down entirely if proposed federal Medicaid cuts become law, healthcare leaders warn. The cuts are part of a sweeping federal bill recently passed by the U.S. House of Representatives, raising alarms across the healthcare industry. Leaders say the plan could devastate access to care in rural communities across the state. The legislation, dubbed One Big Beautiful Bill by Trump, passed Friday by a single vote. The bill calls for increased spending on immigration enforcement and the military, makes Trump's 2017 tax cuts permanent, and would temporarily eliminate taxes on tips and overtime wages. Temporarily eliminate taxes on tips and overtime wages. To offset those costs, the bill includes deep cuts to clean energy programs, food assistance, and Medicaid, potentially removing millions of Americans from the program. People will file for bankruptcy when they have to go to the doctor or the hospital, disability advocate Lindsay Latham told NBC News. Ripple effects. Healthcare leaders in Oklahoma say those ripple effects will hit rural areas the hardest. And keep in mind, Oklahoma is one red state with a bunch of rural areas. They're going to be replicated, and this situation is going to impact many rural hospitals across the country. Every rural hospital in this state operates in the red, said Rich Rasmussen, president of the Oklahoma Hospital Association. It's these types of Medicaid programs that keep them open. Rasmussen explained how Medicaid funding works in Oklahoma. A portion comes from a hospital tax, currently set at 4% of each hospital's total revenue. The state collects that money and pools it into a single fund. The federal government then matches the total, effectively doubling the amount available to support Medicaid services. But if the federal bill becomes law and fewer patients remain on Medicaid, Rasmussen said Oklahoma may need to raise its hospital tax rate to increase its federal match. However, the bill in its current form would lock states into their current hospital tax rates, removing their ability to raise them to adjust for the cuts. Unfortunately, now we're kind of being forced to have to potentially adjust to fewer dollars. He warned that the consequences could be severe. Hospitals laying off staff, ending services, and canceling long-awaited expansions. Right now, we have hospitals for the first time in 20 years contemplating adding obstetrical services to deliver babies. If what is passed makes it more difficult to be able to financially demonstrate that you can do that, then you will have hospitals that just won't choose obstetrical services. So they were trying to add benefits to deliver babies, but now they might not be able to. Hospitals that might want to offer some specialty service or some additional rehabilitation services for the folks in their communities, they may not be able to do that because this country is getting older. So rehab and physical therapy would have been important. But no, this country is ridiculous. This part right here, in the worst cases, he said, some rural hospitals will have no choice but to close. And these forced birther states are already running off doctors and nurses because of their forced birther policies. Now it's going to make it worse for these states. And finally, this man is a MAGA voter. He comes out and he is pissed. He is PO'd about this big, beautiful BS. And he lets loose a lot of cuss words. I put this at the end because it is definitely full of expletives. If YouTube tries to ding me for all the expletives, I'll just put this in a short where you can see him ranting. So I'm just going to do a couple of the comments underneath this post. Harper says, let this be a productive moment, my guy. If the Republican Party is willing to lie to your face about something you held so dear in your voting considerations, something that affects nearly all skilled tradesmen and others besides, how can you trust any of the stuff that they say about illegally deporting people with no due process or maintaining any of the constitutional amendments that preserve our free ideals? The DNC is a bitter pill to swallow for me, but the alternative is just more blatant lies at the expense of every single person in the United States that isn't making more than $500,000 a year. Exactly. This dude is a liar. The Republican Party is some liars. So why are you mad? It's like you're going to either, you know what though? This is what they want. Because I did go to his page and he is doubling down on the fact that he thinks that Kamala Harris would have been worse. Specific Power says anybody that believed no tax on overtime was ever going to really happen is beyond hope. They still believe it despite what's in the bill. Exactly. They still believe that this is going to happen. It's not going to happen. Many of us with some sense know it's not going to happen. Anyways, like I said, I'm going to put this on YouTube. If I can't get it monetized, I'm just going to put that man's rant on a separate page. But here it goes.
All right, you shady motherfucker, listen up and listen good. I voted for you because of your no tax on overtime bill, amongst other things. But here's the deal. I just read your great big beautiful bill, and it's bullshit. The overtime, no tax on overtime, this is the way it works in that bill. You ready for this shit? You get a $10,000 tax deduction at the end of the year for overtime, if you make less than $100,000. Well, let me tell you something, boys and girls. There are very few skilled tradesmen in this country, and I'm talking about construction workers, especially union construction workers, oil field workers, truck drivers. None of them will be eligible for that $10,000 deduction because it stops at $100,000. That's right, $100,000. Now that sounds like a lot of money if you're from Oklahoma. But let me tell you what, if you live in Washington, Idaho, Montana, California, Oregon, Colorado, even Texas, all the coastal states, New York through Florida, $100,000 is just an average wage for a skilled tradesman. Your welders, your pipe fitters, your good framing carpenters. That's just that. It doesn't get you there. It doesn't get you there, which means we'll still be taxed on all of our overtime, 100%. This is bullshit. Now, if you're at the 7-Eleven and you're working overtime, you might have a chance. But this is not going to affect those of us in construction and manufacturing. It's just not. A good line welder, most of the country, you're talking $46, $55 an hour, okay? Even more in a coastal state, as much as $60 or $70 an hour. And you work 10, 12 hours a day. This big, beautiful bill is a big pile of bullshit for skilled tradesmen. I said what I said. Bring the fucking heat. And another thing, truck drivers work 70 hours a week, every week, and they don't get paid by the hour. There is no overtime. Bullshit. This is a bullshit bill, and it doesn't even come close to addressing the people who put you in office, which are the blue-collar workers of America. So, Donnie, I'm going to fucking go the other way with this one. With this one, you dropped the ball. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed, DJT. This is some fucking bullshit. If you don't fix this, you're going to lose this, bro. And tell your cronies in Congress, if they don't fix this, I guarantee you, 4 years from now, the majority of those seats will not be red. You pulled a lot of goddamn union brothers over to your side. And I appreciate your ideals most of the time. But this time, not so fucking much. Oh, by the way, not driving, riding. He's driving. The bald-faced fuck. He doesn't even like your overtime bill.
Fuck you!
There it is. You share this shit. Let everybody know what the real fucking deal is. I don't like being hoodwinked.